We're looking here at marking out and cutting a bridle joint. Now this joint is similar to a mortise joint, but it's just open at one end, and we're going to be cutting these and using them a lot on the frames of our tables. A lot of you have got to make these joints, so I'm going to just go through the marking out and cutting of these joints. So for the first thing, we take our pieces of timber and we're just going to use some abrasive paper and just go around, spend a little bit of time cleaning them up, getting them ready to mark. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to mark the depth of cut on the end of the piece of timber. So we're going to do that by taking one of the pieces of timber, placing it on the other, making sure these two edges are flush, and the easiest way to do this is just go around, keeping your fingers on one end here. You can see my fingers in here, just keeping them on the end there so that I make sure this is lined up. Now we could mark this and go around with a tri-square, but as long as we do it fairly carefully, we can mark that all the way around. Then we're going to take the marking gauge, and we've already measured the wood here, and it is about, I think we measured it at 46 millimeters. So if we set the marking gauge here at about 15 millimeters, 15 millimeters will give us quite accurately. Then we take the marking gauge and take our piece of wood, have the point, if you're right-handed, this in your right hand, this in your left hand, and we just put them together like that, the stock of the marking gauge here, and drag that back. And we're going to turn it around and do it the other way. And there we can see we've marked out, we've got our markings there for our bridle joint, and I've just put a pencil down those to check that they're right. The next thing we're going to do is go along the top here, and then back down this side. And now what we need to do is just decide which part of the joint this is. When we're marking it, obviously we have two components. So one we'll mark waist here, and one we mark waist on the two sides. So if we look at this one, and we can say we're going to mark this one the waist here. It's important you mark this waist because it's easy to make a mistake and cut the wrong piece, or cut two the same, which you don't want. Okay, so this one we're going to cut, and once we've cut it, it should look like that. The next one we mark out, and got one here, and I'll just mark the one face on this, and this one on this face along the top, and this one we're just going to mark this one as waist. Then it's simply a matter of cutting this one down here and here. Once you've cut it down here, simply cutting out this waist, and we can use that using the mortising machine, or we can do it with a chisel and a mallet.